What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, a channel 100% dedicated to the Arsenal, who, as we all know, are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. And Sunday night, as I sit here talking to you, our fantastic first team squad, 26 or so players, are winging their way from Stansted to the east coast of America for the razzamataz portion of our pre-season tour. And the big news is about the players who were not part of that initial squad. Now, first and foremost, Thomas Partey and Emile Smith-Rowe are not announced, not on that plane tonight, but it was said that they will be joining up next week. So, of course, when the squad is first announced, people are looking at it saying, well, does this mean Thomas Partey's on his way? As I understand it, Thomas Partey is the driving force behind the possible transfer. It is not that Arsenal want him to go. It is that he has decided the time for him at Arsenal is up. Obviously, he has looked at the fact that Declan Rice is coming in, seen that he'll probably have impacted minutes, and at this stage of his career, wants to try something different or go somewhere else. It's clear, or it has been reported, that Arsenal don't actually want to lose him. He's important for squad depth. He is an important player, and a good player. There's no question about that. It seems as though Thomas Partey would like to stay in Europe, ideally at Juventus, but that the firm offers that have come in for him have been Saudi Arabian. And it was reported over the last couple of days that he's actually signed a pre-contract, that he's come to an agreement with the Saudi team. Seen no confirmation of that anywhere. It wouldn't hugely surprise me, but I think we have to hold off. It's not quite a here we go yet, put it that way. And Emile Smith-Rowe is joining up later because he had longer in the England under-21s, winning the European Championships. Now, he's apparently been doing a lot of training and is keen to get out there, and had been offered longer away, but has chosen to join up with the team. So the three players who will not be joining up at a later date and who did not travel with the team are Cedric Soares, Albert Sambi Lokonga, and Nicola Pepe. What it looks like that means, therefore, is this was not down to injuries. This is just down to they are not part of the long-term planning of the club, or even the short-term planning of the club. It's pretty clear that if you took Pepe, for example, we would love to sell Pepe and get some money for him, but it's unlikely that any team out there is going to offer us any amount of cash, knowing that as the transfer window nears a close, we are likely to rip up his contract and he will therefore become a free agent. So the chances now are that we signed him for 72 million, and a year before the end of his contract, after 4 years at Arsenal, something like 80 games and 19 goals, Nicola Pepe's time with us has come to an end. Albert Sambi Lokonga, of course, looks likely to go and join Vincent Kompany at Burnley, although I haven't seen that confirmed yet. And I'm not entirely sure what Cedric Soares will do, but again, it's likely, I think they'll rip up his contract and let him go as a free agent, which seems the kindest thing to do. And if it is, in fact, the last time we've seen any of them in an Arsenal shirt, I hope you will join me in wishing them all the very best. For me, three young men that didn't make the squad, and I'm a little bit confused about it, a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest. I thought that Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Raul Walters all acquitted themselves brilliantly in the game against Nuremberg. Some of my favourite moments from the game, in fact. And they are incredibly bright prospects for us, albeit a little bit young. I'm surprised they didn't make the team. But Amario Cozier-Duberry has made it, so we'll hopefully get a chance to see at least glimpses of him, another hugely promising player who was in the first team squad quite a few times last season. But all of this kind of leads me on to a point that I wanted to make about, we've now made the three big signings. We've spent 200 million. We are looking to sell some players. Kieran Tierney's with the squad and he's out in America. Rob Holding's with the squad flying out to America. We have apparently been offered a couple of million for Rob Holding. It does seem like a silly small amount of money to take, even though I don't necessarily think he has a future at the club. There's no pressure on us to accept a couple of million. But what I really wanted to talk about was the Lavie transfer, which is, of course, after Timber and Rice have now been confirmed. This is the one that everyone was talking about. Makes a lot of sense because he's a defensive midfielder, and if we are going to lose Thomas Partey, and I accept that is just an if at the moment, it would make sense to have cover. At least it would do, except for the fact that I think that if you're going to sign someone like Lavie, who is undoubtedly a potentially very good player, but then so was Sambi Lokonga, albeit not Premier League tested in the way that Lavie kind of has been at Southampton. But it does block the path for some of the players I'm talking about. The Miles Lewis-Skellies, the Amario Cozier-Duberrys, and Ethan Nwanieris. Now, I know Ethan Nwanieris is still very young, but Lavie is not that much older, actually. So, is there an argument here for saying we have a strong midfield at the moment? We have players that can fit into that defensive midfield role. I've talked about Ben White potentially moving into defensive midfield. Is it necessary? Do we need any more players? I think if we are looking at more players, Lavie probably wouldn't be the type of player I'd go for. I'm still concerned that Nelson may not be effective enough cover on the left, and we are a little short on the right, accepting that Kai Havertz can play on the right, Jesus can play on the right. However, I think the on-off saga of Balogun, and who also travelled with the squad, Balogun is clearly a player who sees his future elsewhere. Arsenal have apparently said that if he won't sign an extension, he does have to go. And it's looking like Inter Milan are seriously interested in signing him for the asking price of around 40 million because they're furious with Lukaku for talking to Juventus when they thought they had a gentleman's agreement that he was going to be playing for them. All of this on a Sunday night. I'm really looking forward to the first game against the MLS All Stars, and the night before on Wednesday, the skills challenge. Let me know in the comments if you're going to be watching it. Also, let me know in the comments if you how you feel about the players not going and who you're particularly looking forward to seeing. And until I speak to you again tomorrow, be lucky and lots of love.